Today we're going to replace the turbo on a 2013 Ford Escape. The first step is we're going to take the wiper cowl out of the way. There's an upper section and a lower section. I'm telling you, when this thing is in, it looks intimidating, okay? You can't even see, you're like, I can't even see back here. So, you know, it scares a lot of people off. They're real worried that this turbo is going to be hard to replace because it's back here in the back. So let me show you what this section, this wiper cowl looks like. So here's the upper section. The upper section don't even bolt on. It's got these clips that once it sets on there, you'll clip it to the front. You just pop them clips off, and on the back, it clips into the body. Two 15mm nuts, one on each wiper arm. Just pop those off. Set the wiper arms back in the same place you take them off when you set them on the arm. That way you don't get them mixed up. Here's the lower section. It'll be exposed when you remove that. 8mm bolt here, 8mm, two on each end. And once you take those out, it just slides right out. This air intake tube is the next thing that needs to be replaced. Let me show you where it sits. It goes from this air box across and down to the top of the turbo, right there. That's an 8mm. You got an 8mm bolt, another 8mm, and a 13mm that bolts that down. Be careful not to break that nipple when you or that little fitting. There's that. That's for the engine cover. That's your third bolt. So it's gonna look like. There's the three that holds that tube down. When you pull it up, you have to reach under it and squeeze this crankcase ventilation hose. Squeeze it and it slides right out. Have to work with it for a second. Then you got a quick connect in the front. Okay, so when you get that out, the next step that we will do, try to find my flashlight. Where's it go? The next step we'll take this exhaust shield off. Two 8mm bolts. One is right here, and the other one's just a little lower. You have to feel for it. You get that loose, just set it up here. They may break, they're hard to get out. I've broke a couple before. You might just have to get two new ones to put in because you'll get a new manifold with turbo. T25, loosen it, spin that clamp. That way you free these lines up. You got four 13mm nuts on the manifold to the head. I've already got mine loose. I've already taken them out. Here's two of them. I got the other two from the bottom. That'll be it from up here, from the top. Oh. Next thing you want to do is remove the axle shaft assembly from the transmission to the hub. That is a 32mm nut. It's a 19mm nut and a 15 for the lower ball joint to the spindle. Right here. Slide that bolt and nut off. You may have to hit that a couple times with a hammer or even open up that spacing on the spindle. Luckily this one come out fairly easy. Just slide that assembly out and remove this bracket that the axle goes in. That's three 13mm bolts. Set it to the side. All right, so now we're underneath. I mean, you can see, once this axle shaft's out, you have a ton of space. You have a tube from the turbo to the intercooler. It's a 7mm on those clamps. And a 10mm nuts on those two fittings, right there, those two brackets. So two 10mm nuts. Okay. And they're right here on the bell housing, or the oil pan. And that tube goes from the intercooler over to the turbo right here. So you got two intercooler tubes you got to pull off, or one, then one up top. Okay. I got this clamp loose from the manifold to the turbo. It's already loose and pushed to the side. That is a 13mm nut on top of that. It sits over between, yeah, it sits over that flange there, like so. So all we got left, we've already removed the 4 manifold nuts, and you got some vacuum lines. I've got them sitting right here to the side. Just unplugged. Plug that. So you got 1, 2, 3 vacuum lines from that solenoid. Those are out. You can see this turbo is loose. So all I've got left to do is take the old drain back tube off. That's a 10mm banjo bolt for the coolant line. There's an oil supply line. That is a 17. I'm gonna go ahead and break it loose, but then snug it back down because I'm gonna take it loose from the engine and pull it out together. Then I'll switch it over to the new turbo. I mean, guys, it's once you get the axle shaft out of the way, I mean, you can see what you need to do. So 10mm hex for the banjo, a 17 for the coolant or the oil supply line, 8mm, a 32mm, a 15, a 19. I mean, guys, that's pretty much all the tools you need. I wish you well. I mean, you just go back in reverse order. I'd set the turbo up, go ahead and put the flange nuts on when you put the new one in. Get this clamp, snug these two down. Put your oil drain, your banjo line, your oil and coolant line back on. Put your vacuum lines back on. Just start working your way back and get underneath here done, and work your way to the top and go in reverse order. I hope this video helps. Like and subscribe to my page. I'll keep trying to post videos.